again to a third episode of Showa Draws. Now, before I continue, there's something I need to come forward on, and that is the concept of doing fan art. Now, while you guys just saw me do some bit of fan art in some way, both on and off record, the thing is that I wasn't very keen on the idea of doing fan art. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to do. I'm not saying that anyone who does fan art are a bunch of thieves. That is totally far from the truth. That couldn't be any farther from the truth at all. In fact, I enjoy fan art. Like, I can respect a lot of people who draw like their favorite characters in fiction in so many ways. But for me personally, it's not that I hate drawing fan art, it's that, for one, I was scared out of doing so when I was very young. I would always draw pictures of Mario and things like that. Then my late father was like, I would like to see you draw more of your original thing. Then like the second reason was because I was afraid of disrespecting the character, and that's not something I like to do. While there have been like horror stories of people who do fan art, or so we think it is, when in actuality it's like, oh, I'm just gonna make it my own way, and if people don't like it, too bad. See a lot of that on Twitter and other forms of social media, and it's kind of grating. And when it came to me deciding that I wanted to do fan art after years of holding it off, it was more so the second reason why I held off rather than the first. Now, the thing about it was that, now see, here's the thing, like, drawing fan art always scared me because I wanted to maintain the integrity of that particular character. I wanted to make sure that everything was either remotely accurate or I made my own spin on it without being a complete dick or completely disrespectful to the original artist, be it living or dead. And in the case of this particular picture, I wanted to make sure that I paid my respects to the original artists, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, who happened to be the original creators of Stephen Grant Rogers, aka Captain America. Captain America, thanks in part to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, became one of my favorite superheroes of all time. Well, my favorite Western comic book superheroes of all time, next to Spider-Man, Ant-Man. The reason being is because their characters really gel well with me. Spider-Man in the sense that he's the everyman, and he was a great representative for a lot of young people who have been relegated to the sidekick status. Ant-Man because, well, in the case of Scott Lang, because he's just awesome and wholesome, and he has a daughter that he loves very much. Now, in the case of Steve Rogers' rendition of Captain America, the first Captain America, the Wholesome Avenger, the first Avenger, in his instance, this is a character that I've been itching to draw for the longest time. The longest time. Because I really loved almost every movie that Cap was in. Be it from his MCU iteration, the first Avenger, to his inclusion in the Avengers, to the Winter Soldier, to Civil War, all the way to Infinity War, Endgame, and so on. Like, Cap has been such a tremendous character, at least in the movie universe. The 1990 Captain America film notwithstanding, because that version of Cap was a bitch. No. The Cap that we got in 2011, on the other hand, was a totally different beast all on his own. Like, the writers did a fantastic job with him. They really respected the guy, especially the Russo brothers who directed Captain America 2 onwards. And it's because of that I was so enamored with Steve Rogers to the point where I ended up buying not one, not two, but 3 Captain America shirts, the first of which I lost, and the last 2 of which I still have to this day. Now, the shirts have Cap shield plastered on it, and it's like, okay, yeah. But yeah, drawing Captain America was no walk in the park for me, especially when it came to drawing the shield. Like, holy hell, that was a problem. That was one of my worst fears ever. Now, the Cap that you're about to see obviously is a little bit of a mishmash from how he was interpreted in the comics, while at the same time somewhat inspired by the MCU design. Now, speaking of Captain America suits, a lot of people have their own personal favorites. Some like the ones in the comics. Me personally, I like the MCU costumes a lot better. Most specifically, the stealth suit from the Winter Soldier, which I thought was fucking awesome. The Civil War suit, the Endgame suit, but my most personal favorite was the Age of Ultron suit that he had, complete with the vibranium magnet, which brought his shield back to him automatically, which I thought was the coolest concept ever. Like, he doesn't fly like Iron Man. He most certainly doesn't fly like his modern-day friend Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. He doesn't shrink or alter his size like the Ant-Man. The closest he has to his arsenal is his shield and the guns that he normally uses during his wartime days. But the only superpower he has is the superhuman strength and speed given to him by the Super Soldier Serum and Vita Rays. Other than that, his wholesome personality, how he values the individual, how he's willing to face all odds even if he's outnumbered and outmatched, that is what drew me to Cap. That was what drew me to Steve Rogers. How he was characterized throughout his time in the MCU was the sole reason why I just became so fond of Cap. Like, this version of Cap. Now, I'm not saying that Sam Wilson is trash or anything. Like, I'm pretty sure he can be a great Captain America if the writers and directors do him justice, or at least in the new Captain America film or so. But I much prefer Rogers over Wilson. Like, they're great characters if given the best writers or directors. But how Steve helps others encompasses his mindset. How he doesn't care who you are. If you do right by the world, he'll definitely help you. If you do wrong by the world, he'll put you in check. Simple as that. And I think there are some people that just don't like Steve because of that kind of mindset, which to them doesn't match the modern world. In which my response to that is, maybe we need people like Steve Rogers. Maybe we need people who keep things simple. Like, it doesn't matter what skin color or gender you are, as long as you're somebody that does right by others, or even if you did bad before but want to improve or become much better than what you were, then there's still hope. And that's what Steve Rogers is all about, the true American concept. I wish there were many people that had this mindset. And if you are out there, let me know in the comments. But with how the MCU is, I really do miss seeing Steve Rogers. I really do miss seeing Chris Evans' performance, because he did a fantastic job as Steve. Now, it's safe to say that the comics do a great job at fleshing him out, because that's where Steve got his basis from, the comics. So, you gotta respect that. You gotta respect the source material. But as far as Steve Rogers goes, I like the MCU's interpretation of him much better than in the comics. Now, that being said, drawing Steve Rogers was a hell of a risk, because I really enjoy this character, and for me to half-ass him in any way in terms of drawing this character was something I'm most afraid of. But I decided, you know what? If Steve is willing to take the risks to save the world at large, then why not draw him? Why not draw one of my favorite characters in the history of comics? And that's exactly what Steve is. He is a cool character worth doing fan art over. Not because of his skin color, and a little less about his superpowers, but more so about his way of thinking is what draws me to him. It's what draws me to such a character, and it motivates me to create that kind of character in stories, which I've yet to create and present to the world completely. But you'll definitely see some in the future. That I promise. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little speed painting, which took me well around 3 hours total, not counting the breaks I took. If you like the artwork, let me know in the comments. If you hate it, let me know in the comments. If you got some mature, constructive criticism that isn't toxic, let me know in the comments, and I'm pretty sure I'll do much better than I did with this. Now, 3 hours after the posting of this video, it will be posted onto my Ko-fi. The link will be in the description below. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one. This is Showa signing out. Please enjoy the speed paint. Mata ne!